Now that we've prepared the content in the control panel and we created all the necessary templates, we are ready to actually start building the individual pages. Here is the website prepared using HTML and CSS. We are using Tailwind CSS in this project and a little bit of Alpine.js for mobile navigation interaction. Here is the home page, the About page, the Books page, and the Contact page. We can click on the individual books pages too. And it's mobile responsive. Let's open our IDE. Before we get started, if you haven't already done so, install all npm packages by running npm install. I've already done so, so I'm not going to do that. And then run the watcher, npm run watch. Okay, now that we have the watcher running, we need to remove the default content. We already removed what was on the home page via the control panel, but if you look at the website in the browser now, you can see that we still get a Statamic logo and a plain box that used to have the default content we deleted. This is coming from the resources views home.antlers.html file. I'll remove everything in here, but I will leave the antlers expression content widont. Wherever you place the content tag is where Statamic dynamically displays the content for the individual pages. The widont modifier is not required, but it prevents single word lines by adding a non-breaking space between the last two words of each paragraph. This is to make the content easier to read, so I'm going to keep it there. Let's refresh the page now. It's empty, but we still have this slightly gray background. This is because the home template is extending the layout.antlers.html file. If you look at this one, we can see that the BG Gray 100 and Text Gray 800 is applied to the whole body of the document. I'm going to remove all styles from body and the div to start our styling from scratch. The individual templates, such as the home or the about template, are injected in line wherever you put this template content variable, so this needs to stay where it is. Let's check the browser again, and now all the styles are gone. Because all our pages will extend this base layout.antlers.html file, this is where we will put our navigation and our footer to see them on every page. First, let's add some things to the head of the website. I'll add this meta description and the Alpine.js script because we will need that to make our navigation work. I'm also going to paste the following Tailwind classes on the body tag. I'm not going to go over what classes I'm using and why, since this would be out of the scope of this course. But if you are interested in learning more about Tailwind CSS, check out the LinkedIn Learning library. Next, I'm going to paste the hard-coded navigation code from my HTML markup. All I'm doing here is adding the logo, the button for the mobile navigation, and some links for the individual navigation items. Let's check the browser, and here is our hard-coded navigation. We are missing the logo, so let's upload it in our Statamic control panel. In the control panel, I'll go to Assets and Upload Logo. Back in the browser, refresh, and the logo is now showing. The reason this is working out of the box is because in my HTML markup, I had my images saved in the Assets directory. Statamic also saves the assets in the Assets directory. This is why I didn't have to change the path to the image. Now let's make the navigation dynamic. We have already created a navigation via the control panel, and to display it on the page, we will use the nav tag. Inside the UL, we will wrap the first li inside the tag and delete all the other link items. I'll also set include home to true to display the home page in the navigation, otherwise it wouldn't show. Next, instead of the href, I'll put the URL variable to make it dynamic. And I'll do the same for the title of the link. We will also add an if statement to check if the page we are on is the current page, and if it is, we will set some classes on it to show to the user that this is the current page. This is a simple loop where Statamic goes over each navigation item, fetches the URL and the title, and displays it on the page. Let's see the browser, and here is the navigation. The current page styling is also working, since I can click around and the current page has a purple underline. It looks the same as it did just a moment ago, but this time the link items are coming from the control panel. Using the nav tag on it will fetch everything in the pages collection, which is exactly what we want. Or is it? Imagine we had some pages that we didn't want to display in the navigation. Let's create a test page quickly. Back in the control panel, I'll create a page and give it just a title, a test title. Save the page and view the website in the browser. Now, if I refresh the page, you'll see that now we have the test added to our navigation, but that's not what we want. What we will do is to use the navigation we created called main nav by giving the nav tag a second part. The navigation will only have the pages we decided it should have, which is home, about, books, and contact, not all pages that exist. And if we ever wanted to rearrange the order of these items, we can do so from the control panel. Let me just move the contact page before the books page and save the changes. Back in the browser, I'll refresh, and as you can see, the order of the items has changed. I'm going to take it back though. That's the navigation done. Now let's prepare the main content section. Again, I'll copy the main tag and paste it here, and inside the tag I'll put the variable template content. Save the file and check the website in the browser. Great! The background is the color it should be based on the design comps. You can even see that our content is coming through as it should. Don't worry about the styling, we will work on it soon. Finally, the footer. First, I'm going to paste my code and walk through it with you. First, let's check it in the browser. Looking good. Since we have not technically made the footer a navigation, we will not use the nav tag to dynamically loop through the list of links. Instead, we will code each link like this. Since these fields are inside our author global set, this is how we fetch them, by using the author directive. Then, we use the prefix we gave to each social media link, for example, Facebook _. And after that is the handle of the field, which in this case in the case of a link is a URL, and for the logo is logo. We're going to do this for every social media link: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Finally, let's extract the navigation and the footer into partials. Partials are reusable views that keep our code organized, and they also allow us to use the same code in multiple places without repeating ourselves. I'm going to create a new directory called partials inside the resources views directory. In there, I'll create a file called _nav.antlers.html and put the whole navigation code in there. Using the underscore in the name is just a naming convention that signifies that this is a partial file. You don't need to use it, and you don't need to use it when you point to the partial in the code either. Back in the layout.antlers.html file, we will display the partial by using the partial tag. And then we're going to point to the directory with the partials and to the file itself. I'll do the same for the footer. I'm going to cut the code, create new partial file, paste it there, and in the layout I'm going to reference this partial file. Let's check the browser if it still works as it should. Refresh the page, and yes it does, the navigation and the footer are still showing up. And this is our layout file done.